This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
She provides so much insight, connected to the stars and more. By the way, astrology is science, just saying. For those that, think this is a little woo, it is a science. And there's a couple of things that we want you to be aware of, particularly involving Neptune. We're going to look at that, how it affects your life, what you might be feeling right now. But here's the beautiful part in her. She gives us that insight through the stars, but also connects it to coaching. So you have the transit and what may be happening or what could happen or what you're feeling. And now what we do with that from the coaching level. She's our professional of the year. Nancy Volante back with us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Steve. Thank you for those kind words. I'm always good. It's always
I
fun to
speak
be back.
truth. I speak truth. It's the way it is. I feel like every time we get together, I don't want to say the Chicken Little syndrome, but it's like, okay, guys, you got to know this. You got to know this based on this transit, what's going on, what we're feeling. Um, is this a very, call it this quarter of the year, or even this year in general, or even the beginning of next year, very impactful, very, very impactful in terms of astrology. Is that what's going on here?
It really is, Steve. And we've talked about it before too, is these outer planets are making big uh moves, like Neptune. Neptune went direct this week, actually yesterday. And
Hmm.
boy, if I had a week, I just kind of rolled with it. And you kind of have to with Neptune because Neptune is dreamy. It resides in that transcendental, like divine waters of the universe, imagination, creativity, the arts, music, and all that divine inspiration we get, and we all get it. Nobody is exempt from that. It all depends on if you can receive it wherever you are in your life.
Hmm.
Sometimes Neptune can bring, oh, I want to escape. I want to do this. My boundaries aren't strong enough. And Neptune can be toxic sometimes in a way that it can enhance if you have that in your life, addictions, any kind of addiction to food, to whatever it is. So it's a choice point of being conscious and integrating these things. And again, as I've always said, if you don't get it right now, it's always going to be there for you to get. The universe wants us to be successful. So with that Neptune going direct, when a planet goes direct, it comes to a standstill. That feeling of, like when you're on a train and you feel like you're going backwards, but you're not. So it's that illusionary kind of thing. But it
Uh,
does, yeah, that's a retrograde. So, but it does come to a energetic standstill. And when that happens, it kind of gets closer to Earth, even though Neptune is so far away. It gets a little bit closer to the Earth. So we are feeling the energy of Neptune a little bit more intensely this week. So it's front and center.
hmm.
So Neptune is going direct in Pisces. Its last hurrah in Pisces. It'll go into Aries at the beginning of 2026. So we're at the 29 degree of Neptune in Pisces. Now, that's an energetic degree and it means a lot. It's huge. It can either be a crisis or an opportunity wherever you are in your life. And we're not judging any of that. It's where you are and it's your purpose and how you're going to either get on your path or have to take another few steps to do it, whatever it is for you. So it's asking you that question. Where are you at? Are we going to go into crisis? Are we going to go into a place of opportunity,
Hmm.
of in this case, renewal and rebirth? Because Neptune in Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It's completion. So that 12th house, that Neptune, and the ancient ruler Jupiter also rules Pisces, excuse me. So that 12th house is Pisces, ruled by ancient ruler Jupiter and modern ruler Neptune. So it's on its last leg before it starts. Oh, the whole cycle starts over again in the first house. So it's asking us, what have you done? What do you need to do? What do you need to let go of? I put some notes down today because Neptune can be very slippery. It's a slippery slope because it's transcendental. It's way out in the ethers of the divinity of faith, of spirituality, of
Hmm.
creativity and our imagination.
So, question about Neptune at this juncture. It sounds like it could be really good or not being negative, but could be really bad, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, and that's reality because that's where we live. The ancients always said, you know, Earth is the school. It's the school of hard knocks. And we are in duality. We're trying to understand duality, right? So, but it is. It's either good or it's bad. It's either positive or negative. And how do we bring that together in alignment to create a consciousness about it that allows us to integrate, excuse me. So those final degrees, what's the closure? You want to ask yourself, let me backtrack a little bit. So this cycle of Neptune in Pisces has been with us since 2011. So this is a 14-year cycle. Excuse me, these outer planets, they're not the personal planets that move very fast. The moon moves every day, Mars, Mercury, they move a lot faster. These outer planets, and today we're working with Neptune, it's a big cycle. It's a
Mhm.
big evolutionary cycle, personally and collectively. So, what happened in 2011? And 11 for me, I was thinking about this yesterday and
I
before.
am right now too.
Yeah, right?
I really am.
So, and
Hmm.
for the audience, please think about that. What has gone on the last 14 years of your life? And it's a lot, right? But when I think about 2011, I graduated. I had finished my graduate work in interdisciplinary arts. So I was really going towards the arts and embodying the arts, not only as an artist, but as a teacher. I started teaching in the inner city and all the boroughs in New York, and really learned a lot about culture. And I worked with children with autism and children with very, very challenging um, uh, physical, mental, and I'm going to say spiritual, emotional, limitations in their life. And that taught me a lot, especially working with children with autism, because I had to work on a level that um, nonverbal and verbal. So it really taught me a lot about how do I come from the inside out? How do I surrender Neptune in Pisces? How do I surrender to something that's really bigger than myself? I felt like I was the student and the kids and the folks that I was working with in the inner city were the teachers.
Hmm.
So that was a big takeaway from me. And I've kind of gone through this whole trajectory of what does it mean to work with people of different cultures and different limitations in their life, different challenges in their life. And how can you bring the arts, for me then, how can you bring the arts into this arena that can maybe connect them in a bigger way so they feel like they belong?
What's coming up for, and that's beautiful,
Thank you.
is there or what is the connection from 2011 to now? because I'm feeling that I don't know why I'm getting that there is a we should look at our where are we now and how is it connected to 2011?
Yeah.
What did we learn? How do we grow? How do we take a step back? But where is that reasonable to look at it that way?
It's beautiful to look at it that way. And that's, because each planet has a trajectory. I can never say that word. And a purpose to what they're embodying. And so Neptune is embodying faith, religion.
Mm,
Look what's gone on from 2011 till now in the religion aspect of our society. And I'm not making any judgment on any of
sure.
that. It's just what are the things that have happened? How has our faith been tested? We've been tested a lot. From COVID to now, we've been tested. What is our faith? How can we not forget about inspiration and imagination? Are we too out of balance with figuring we got to do black and white? We got to do this. And Neptune and Pisces is not black and white. It really is
Mm.
about our faith, our imagination, our spirituality. How do we connect? However you connect with the divinity, whether it's God, whether it's, being a Catholic, whether it's, being a medium that channels spirit, whatever that is. How is it speaking to you and how is it changing?
I'm still stuck on 2011.
Yeah, I love
And
that. That year was powerful for me.
it was for me too.
It
A-
really,
And I
truly.
want to say that year, but if you take it like a chunk of a full year, so, depending on where things transpired, they kind of spill into 2012. Would that be okay
Oh
to
yeah.
say?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah. Because
it's
I mean,
all
it's no,
spilling.
we're not,
Is
it's not like, the planets are on a traditional calendar. No, it's a moving target. When you
yeah.
put all of that together, yeah. And I bet you there's things that I'm missing
Oh
that
yeah, me
that
too.
transpired.
The reason
Hmm.
I'm writing for a second because I wrote down what you just said. You said moving target. That's kind of like that's what Neptune is, always moving. Like Neptune is never going to go in a straight path. And we'll talk about Neptune moving into Aries. That's a whole different energy. But this energy with Neptune and Pisces, it's a moving target. We got to catch it. And we can only catch it if we understand the mystery of life.
Hmm.
That's a
What
hard one.
what's the I know I'm fixated here on 2011 because I had no idea what you're going to say, and now that you're saying it, I'm starting to piece things together.
Hmm,
Um,
that's the dance.
and I'm getting them. Like, oh, then that happened that year, or within a year period. Oh, for me, that, and then that, and you're doing the same thing. I
Yeah.
think maybe we all are. What do those things mean to us now?
And that's the question.
Damn, I thought you had the answer.
I didn't have the answer. That is the question that we're all asking. Like, how did it piece together for you? Or has
Um,
it? You don't have, with Neptune, it's not going to be like, it's going to be
a
moving.
moving target. It's like a moving target. It's
It's going to
it's
be like this.
fluid.
It's going to
But
be
I see
fluid.
it.
Thank you.
I'm seeing those things, and though that year was kind of big, in my world. And I think if we
Yep.
look at it, and I'm not looking for things, but that took place. I took on a new role professionally in one situation. Um, had a close relative have a serious medical situation. Um, and there was something else that took place personally that was more into 2012.
Mhm.
But I mean, again, there's no exact number here in terms of dates,
No,
etc.
no.
And that was big. And that was big.
Yeah.
Mm, wow.
And I think that for me, 2011 was so big because it took me to a place, being in New York, such a big energy. And it took me to all these different communities in the city. And believe me, I went to all of them.
Mm,
And I had to surrender to the fact that I'm just this one person going into this community that is from all different cultures, all different ways of being. And I had to find a way that I could enter and not thinking like, oh, here's this person, here's this, excuse me for saying this, here's this white girl coming in and thinking that she's going to change us. And I
mm.
never wanted to be that way.
So I
And
have a
I was
question for
taught.
you. I have a question. What are the lessons you learned during that time when, and this, we're referring, just to recap here, when Neptune was, how do I phrase it? What was
When
going,
Neptune went into Pisces and started the 14-year cycle, and as it's ending right now.
okay. Um, one, two, three lessons that you take away from 2011. Not the whole 14 years, but
Yeah.
that chunk right there.
Yeah, for
Well,
some reason it's coming up. And I don't write this stuff down. I only write points. I didn't have any idea this was coming up. So I'm getting a healing as I'm speaking to you right now. And this is how Neptune works. So the three things that I took away was
mhm.
my heart got awakened and broken open coming to these communities that you think as a privilege. I feel I'm privileged in a way in certain things, but and I went into these communities and I'd leave, Steve, crying,
Mm,
crying like I don't know how to do this. I can't go back to the way that I'm living and know that some people are living like this. I had to work through that and strengthen my heart and understand how to give compassion without losing myself. Neptune.
mm, mm. Be
Ooh,
to be careful with your empathy.
yes.
Mm. What's coming up for me as I look at what transpired, be careful who you trust.
Yeah.
Um, speak your mind. And now I'm going back to certain situations.
Yeah.
There's a lesson. There's a lesson. And don't worry about career related things, money. It all works out. I took on this new role. It wasn't for a lot of money, uh, a ton of work, management role. Sounded like a good idea. And I only did it because, might be good for, on the resume. And compensation went, it truly wasn't worth it in terms of, the lost sleep, the stress, the anxiety, what eventually became an ulcer a
Oh,
number of years later. But that was the beginning of the, oh, I got to jump into this thing now and dig in and take care of it. Um, shouldn't have worried about it. It's like, you do it and that's it. We're all good. Um, definitely, definitely all three of those things important hard lessons for me that I'm better for it since then.
that's so beautiful. That is really great. And within that, I'm hearing that you had to maybe cultivate some faith from the inside out.
Um, yeah, but I didn't realize it at the time. I
No,
was more
no.
in a, oh my God, I gotta take care of this. I got to do this. I got to do
Yeah,
this. Now I'm running a team. I got to like, what, how did this happen?
right.
And, financially, it really wasn't worth it. But I felt like I needed to do that to stay in that role position, et cetera. Um, but I wouldn't do that again. If I look back at it, um,
Right. And what about what if we said if this was like a coaching session that that was part of your sole purpose to get where you are now? Maybe you couldn't get where you are now if you didn't have that step.
yes, definitely. And that was
You know?
I was doing this raised the bar up where, had to do a lot, learned a lot. But it challenged me in ways, in a positive way, but also worried me in other ways. And I shouldn't have worried about it. But now I don't. Now I don't.
Yeah,
I don't worry
because you
about it.
came through that cycle.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
Out of as an astrologer, it's the one planet I've always had a hard time with, and it's positioned very importantly in my chart.
Hmm.
And I've always had a hard time, so I'm really paying attention now. I think that Neptune has the other thing of the three, one, two, three. The second thing is trust.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But it's a different kind of trust. It's a bigger trust, Steve. It's the trusting of the mystery. As my teacher says, with Neptune and with these spiritual aspects of growing, we can't hang on to the shore. We have to let go and not kind of, float out into the unknown. In this case, Neptune, that primordial tide of inspiration, imagination,
Hmm.
faith, trust, spirituality.
Well, embrace the discomfort because none
And
of this
embrace,
is it's not
yeah,
comfortable.
every planet has that discomfort, and that's the growth.
Hmm. I get from you that Neptune is somewhat elusive, where other
Very
planets,
much.
where not, no, we can't reach out and touch them,
No.
but we feel like, all right, I got my, I got a fix on the moon. I got a fix on Mercury.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm more in touch with it. I'm getting
Yeah.
from you as an astrologer. Neptune's this elusive, way out there, and it's kind of like flighty.
It
It's
is.
just like kind of, whatever. Here I am. Good. I'm bad. I'm here.
Exact. Boy, you just embodied that. And Neptune is also about illusions. How are we going to learn about the illusions of life? So Neptune is going to teach us that. It's going to teach us about to be aware of those illusions, be conscious of those illusions. And what about the boundaries? Like Neptune doesn't it doesn't have like solid boundaries like Saturn does,
Mm.
and but it has those elusive kind of boundaries. Like, how do we work with that? And some people work with that very beautifully because they can be like that. I'm one of those people that, for me, Neptune is hard to work with, not as far as inspiration and channeling creativity, but about then walking on the earth, having those boundaries, understanding those, and being aware.
I don't want to read into what you're saying,
Go
but
ahead.
the word illusion, with
Yeah.
everything that I think of around that time, there were a lot of illusions.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm serious. Like it's
Oh,
like there were a lot of illusions that had transpired in my world. I look back and I'm like, well, I won't get fooled by any of those illusions again. Interesting that you said that word, and it was like, oh, that's the word.
I mean,
Wow.
I think I've brought this up before, a big part of my trauma that I've worked with that has been my teacher and that has gotten me to where I am today is I had this whole illusionary relationship with a cousin who was like a sister to me. And that for me, wow, I didn't realize that. I'm realizing it now. What a big takeaway. She was a Pisces. She's no longer with us. She passed away. But she is a Pisces. And, I really loved her. And I thought she really loved me. But, when you're dealing with a narcissistic personality, so that is a lot of my takeaway as long with the teaching and with the artistic opportunities I had. I also had this because it comes in all kinds of forms, right?
Nancy,
I'm just starting to heal that. Really,
Nancy,
yes.
I don't know how you do this, but what I referred to in my lessons there, one of them involved cousins.
Ah,
The chances of that, that's freaky weird.
yeah.
Can't make that up.
Makes me cry because, when you really open your heart and Neptune wants us to be compassionate, that love, that unconditional love. Um, and you get like blindsided by it and you
Mm,
really get hurt.
mm. Well,
State.
It's painful to say it. I'm easier saying it as life goes on because there was a lesson.
Absolutely. And the lesson for me was pay attention, have your boundaries, be in your body, have that self-worth,
Mm,
understand, and come from a place of compassion. It's hard for me to say forgiveness because I'm still working on that. I have to be
mhm.
honest. Hey, so I'm
Yeah,
an
I got you.
astrologer, I'm a coach, but I'm also a human being and I walk my talk. I
I
try.
got you. Yeah. And all of this, 14 years later, I pilot by these three things. I didn't make this up. It was either some say it was Shakespeare, some say it was Bob Marley. I don't know, and I'm paraphrasing it, but this is it. Love everyone, trust few, always do the right thing for the greater good. We can simply say, well, I am doing the right thing for you, but what about for everyone? And the trust few, that hurts, but that's reality,
That's reality.
And you can love everyone. You can walk into, you know, convenience store, a Starbucks, whatever, and just look at it and say, hey, the coffee you made today was fantastic. Yeah, thank you. And your hair looks great, whatever it might be. But you can show that compassion. You said that word, and that's kind of how I ride. I pilot now.
Yeah. This 14 years of this journey with Neptune and Pisces coming to the anaretic degree as we speak,
Mm.
29 degrees. And this is what we're talking about, crisis opportunity. So the opportunity is to come more into a wholeness and bringing those parts of yourself that have been traumatized or have been neglected or have been suppressed because of hurt, bringing those to the surface. And Neptune is saying, can we have a renewal? Can we have a rebirth? Because I'm here to support that in that anaretic degree.
Are we at that point now?
Yes,
We're
we
out of
are.
time, but I just keep going here.
Oh, no.
Are we at that point now where that
Oh,
14-year
boy.
cycle has ended and now it's okay? Kind of a fresh start in a lot of regards.
Yes. But let's be aware of why we're wanting this fresh start. So we want to bring in the awareness and then try to let that go.
I got the awareness. I see it clear.
Me too.
Uh,
There's so much more to talk about, Steve. Maybe
I
we'll
know.
the next one because I think that it's big enough that we can still continue this. And I know we're out of time, but that Neptune, real quick, in the early part of 2026, will go into Aries. We can talk about that. It's a whole different energy.
Final question.
Yes.
January, based on what you just said, is that a good time to start something new?
I think when Neptune is, I have to think about that for a second. When Neptune enters into Aries, it's about new beginnings. So it is starting something new with a new consciousness, a new awareness of what you're doing, your purpose, your leadership, Aries, your embodiment of the warrior within.
Love
Because
it.
Aries is going to shake Neptune up and say, listen, we got two different energies here, but let's follow each other and dance.
What's your website?
It is thewhispering soul.net.
Always love talking with you. You make us think. It's the weirdest
Oh, you
thing.
made me think. I didn't know this was going to come up, but this is such a healing today. And I hope that this can resonate with people that are listening. I really do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Lots to think about.
I know,
Like
me too.
seriously, right?
Well, to be continued.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.